Okay, welcome back everyone to the second video of this tutorial. Today I will be texturing this Dominus hat. Um, so first what you're going to want to do is create your own texture. And with the Dominus accessory that you made from the last tutorial, you're going to want to separate them into buttons, wings, and a hood. So they have to be 3 separate models. And what I'm going to do here is press tab and I'm going to just cut this model in half. So I'm just going to get rid of half of the model and I'm going to mirror the entire thing. And this is because it will be a lot easier to texture it and it will make both sides symmetrical when it's mirrored. So I'm going to go ahead and add modifier, mirror, add modifier, mirror, add modifier, mirror, and this you might need to edit the model again, and you're probably going to have to reattach things. Vertices might not connect completely, so you're going to have to fix that up. Okay, so I have completely mirrored the model, and now what you're going to want to do is go up to the top left corner and slide to the right so then you can create another window. Go into this tab up here, select UV editor, and what you're going to want to do here, go back down to the bottom right corner and over here what you're going to want to do is add your image into the base color. So you're going to click this yellow dot, select image texture, click open in the file button, and then select the texture that you're going to use. So I already made my texture, so I'm just going to load it up here. And in order to see where your texture is, you're going to want to press this button at the top here. It's called viewport shading. I'm going to put back the second window there. Okay, so you're going to do this to the wings if the color didn't appear on the wings. It seems like it has appeared on the buttons and the wings, and it has not appeared on the hood, so I'm going to repeat the same thing. Open image texture. And I'm going to put it there too. As you can see, the texture looks extremely messy right now. So go into UV editor here. Once again, top left corner, UV editor in this tab. And then you're going to select this picture button here. Select Dominus texture. And what I have here is a 1000 by 1000 pixel grid basically. Roblox textures are square, so that's why it's a square. And what I have here, this black square here is going to be the black part of the hood. It's going to be the mask. This gradient here is going to be the wings. This gradient here with the wrinkles here is the hood. The 2 gray squares here and this little pink square here is going to be for the buttons. And this black to pink gradient here is going to be the inside of the hood. So I'm going to first start off with the hood. Press tab, select A. So you'll get all of the sides of the hood here. And as you can see, the texture is not in the correct position. So what you're going to want to do is right click and click unwrap. And what this is going to do is unwrap the texture for you. Here you have, this is, I'm pretty sure no, it's not the bottom of the hood. This is the entire hood. So we got the entire side of the hood here. We got the opening of the hood, and we have, this is the mask. So let's do the mask part. The mask part's always the easiest. I decided to put eyes on this hood. So what you're going to want to do here, it looks like it needs to be flipped. So I'm going to do SX and flip it like that. And you can enlarge it by pressing S and then going in and out. I like the eyes to be bigger, so I'm going to shrink the net a little bit. And that looks good. That position looks fine. So let's just relocate this opening here. Do that later. The hood. You can do SX to stretch it. Shrink it a little bit. And I think that looks fine for now. So you can see the texture covers the entire outside of the hood. Tab A. Now we're going to do the inside of the hood. This part is, let me see. This is the inside of the hood. This goes around the hood. Okay, so since this goes on the lip, but we're going to just put it right next to here and kind of try matching the gradient. Or you can go in the texture, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, as you can see, the texture is kind of flipped here. It's bright up here and it's also bright down here. I textured it wrong. So we're gonna SY and we're gonna flip it upside down. And as you can see, the texture fits now. It's consistent. Now let's do the inside of the hood. You move it around a little bit to see. You can see it's the inside. Rotate it, and we want the dark black part to be on the inside. Maybe scale this a little bit larger, and I might select the vertices tab here, and I might straighten this out so then it's a little bit easier to have a more consistent color throughout the hood, the inside. And if you're wondering how I'm moving these vertices, I'm pressing G. And G allows you to move these vertices, and I'm using S to enlarge and R to rotate. So really getting good at Blender is really just getting used to the hotkeys. Okay, that's not completely straight, but that's fine for this demonstration. As you can see, the black goes all the way around, and it kind of looks like it's fading into the darkness a little bit. Okay, so let's move on to the buttons. So now I want the middle part here to look like just pure pink. So what I'm going to do here is A, unwrap. I guess that doesn't do anything. It's going to be a solid color. You could definitely put more designs, but I'm trying to do this quickly. I'm only using a simple texture. So now I'm circling the next circle. This one, it's a line in the texture. Don't want that, so I'm going to right click and unwrap, and that's going to turn it into a hoop. I'm going to put this in the light gray area, and then the next outer circle here, might as well do this part as well. I did a little bit of editing off camera, so that's why it looks a little bit different. Click unwrap again, and this one I'm putting it in the dark gray circle, or dark gray square. It's gonna look like that, and don't forget the back side here. Click A, unwrap, and I'm just going to put this in the light gray. So that's basically the buttons. Okay, so lastly for the wings. So what you're going to want to do is select the back feathers. Only the back feathers, don't touch the front ones yet. And we're going to go into UV editor here and just unwrap. And then you're going to get 4 feathers here. What you can do here is put them together as consistently as possible. That should be fine. Okay, now we're going to grab the 4 front ones. Right click, unwrap. And I'll also put these together as consistently as possible on top of each other. If you want it to be more consistent, you can merge them at the center. Merge all the vertices together. And you can do it to the back ones as well that we did earlier. It's M and click merge to center, or at center. And now if we click A in the modeling or 3D model window, you can see we have 2 feathers here. If you want them to be the same, you can also put these 2 on top of each other, but I left enough space that they can be individually laid out. And these 2 squares here are for the bottom here. Now these ones, I don't think they really matter. You can really just hide them anywhere. I would put them here because this is what is intending to be the bottom of the color, the bottom color of the feathers. So I'm just gonna put that there. And then drag and highlight the 2 feathers, or else if you just click on it and select it, then it will only select one of them. Press G and then just rotate, and you can put them, gonna align it a little bit. Gonna put them in the gradient here. So now we should have some pretty consistent looking feathers. I think they look pretty good for what they are. Now this can definitely have some more detail. We can use texture paint. What texture paint is, what I use texture paint for is like little finishing touches. I don't use it for completely painting the entire thing because it's actually not very good on Blender. And I don't have substance painter, so that's not something that I can use. So what is texture paint? Texture paint is essentially what it's like a paintbrush tool that you can paint on the surface of any model that you have a texture on. So the texture paint tab is right at the top here, and what I like to use here is this little square up here, which enables the selection box here. And this basically allows you to select the parts that you want to paint without accidentally painting other parts of the model. So I'm just going to showcase texture paint on the wings here. So let me just get out of texture paint here, and let me select the wings, go to texture paint, click on the box, and as you can see here, we can select on the top of the wings, and what I want to do here is I want to make them a little bit brighter at the top. So what I'm going to do is click on the paintbrush tool now, and you can select the strength, the radius. I'm going to select the strength as 0.25, just for an example. It's in white right now, and I can just brush the back and the front feathers to make them look a little bit brighter, making it look a little sharper, I guess. So once we go back into the modeling tab, the upper part of the wings have now been painted a little bit white, so now as you can see, they look a little bit more contrasted with the bottom. Let's say that I want to make these buttons look a little bit more reflective. I can go ahead and select texture paint again, select the box, and let's say I want to paint the front here. Just going to select everything. Okay, there you go. Now let's paint. If you go far away, it makes it a little bit like, what is it, a little bit more faded. If you go to the front here, it's a little bit more specific. Just going to go far away and paint a little bit of white, and that should make it look like that light is going down onto the button. Yeah, not the best example, but you kind of get what I'm doing. Let's say that I want to paint the bottom of the hood a little bit darker, because this hood looks still a little bit flat in my opinion. So I'm gonna select texture paint again. This time I'm not gonna select anything specific. I don't need to mask. So I'm gonna go far away, and I'm just gonna paint like this. You can see it's a little bit darker now. And the bottom too. Might want to do the bottom as well. Okay, now back in the modeling tab, as you can see, it's painted darker. I might want to make the edges here a little bit lighter or darker. I don't know. Do another little paint job here. Maybe I want a little bit lighter. Just paint it. Oh, I forgot to mask it. Whoops. Now the texture is, the texture I made it overlapping with the surface here, so I'm gonna have to fix that now. Modeling, as you can see, if you select A, yeah, it's a little bit overlapped, like how I did it earlier. Now I don't want that, so I'm going to maybe shrink it a little bit, make it so then it's not overlapping. As you can see, it's no longer overlapping. Um, Now I can go back to texture paint. It's automatically masked, and I can just color this however I want to. Now you're going to want to do this in one stroke if you want the entire thing to be consistently one shade, because if you stop and do another, it's going to be another layer basically. It's going to be more opaque. So back into the modeling tab, as you can see, it's a little bit brighter now. Maybe I don't like that and I want to undo it. Just press Ctrl Z and go back into texture paint. Maybe I'll do a dark tint instead. Mask it and then paint again. Maybe go over it another time. Go back into the modeling. And I think that looks pretty decent. Now the inside of the hood, as you can see, it's really neon pink and it doesn't really fit really well. So what I'm going to do is select all the faces in there. Texture paint, immediately masked. And what I'm going to do here is go ahead and start painting everything. Okay, that's not the smoothest paint, but you kind of get it. Okay, let's say that I am done modeling this. Honestly, not the best, but if I put more time, yeah, could have been better, but I'm going to show you how to export it now. So you have your texture here, and you're going to click on the image up here, and then you're going to want to click Save As, and then name it, and then save the image. And as for the model itself, let's just shrink this back to one window. We're going to go into File, Export. I like to export it as a wavefront, even though it's legacy. A lot of people still use that for UGC. So let's just name it as something. I'm just going to name it Custom Dominus. Export. And that should be exported as a wavefront. So after you're done exporting, you're going to want to open up Roblox Studio. You're going to want to upload your texture as a decal in the developer tab, or I think it's called the create tab, I'm not sure, but you're going to want to right click here on the base plate, click on insert object, click on mesh part, and you're going to have a mesh here. This mesh ID here, you're going to want to insert the wavefront that you just exported. So mine was Custom Dominus. So we're going to want to export it in, and it looks good. What I'm going to do here is insert the decal that I just uploaded. So I'm going to copy and paste the ID of the decal and then put it in the texture ID bar here. As you can see, it loads up the texture and your entire model is colored. And what if you want to turn this into a hat? You're going to want to take like a random character. I have the load character plugin here. So let's just select someone. Okay, so here's Shadletsky. I'm just going to take off the accessories so then I can put this item on his head. You're going to want to lower down the studs so then you can fit it easier. There you go. It fits nicely because in the previous video we already fitted the accessory on a mesh of a Roblox avatar, so it fits perfectly fine on a Roblox avatar in Roblox Studio. So what we're going to do here is use the asset creator plugin This is from Stickmaster Luke. You can find it in the Creator Marketplace. You're going to create an accessory. You want to click on the mesh that you want to turn into an accessory. So this mesh part. Click on the character, Shadletsky. It's going to be a hat, and we're going to want classic character type, and it's going to be turned into a hat. And this is named mesh part accessory. You can name it whatever you want. And then there is another plugin. It's called the UGC thumbnail tool. You have your hat selected. Click on the plugin, and you can create a quick thumbnail. And then you can left click save to Roblox here, and you select it as an avatar item, select it as a hat. As you can see, validation succeeded. You will need 750 Robux to upload. And also, if the accessory does not get through Roblox's like security or QA check or whatever, then you won't get your Robux back, and you won't be able to wear the hat. So there's always a risk making UGC. You can select the creator, and you can click on like tags, so you can put in like hood, scary, I don't know, and you can update the description as well. So that's basically how you make a UGC item. I will link the plugins in the description below, and in a few weeks I will likely make a Valkyrie tutorial, so stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.